Well, I'm also not an expert in any of these fields, but I thought this is a wonderful idea,
Mhm,
and it's very much needed at this
mhm.
point in history.
Correct.
When the Thomas idea is being debunked
Mhm,
by people who don't believe and had the wrong information.
mhm,
And I was greatly relieved to know that we do have documentary evidence of the Apostle Thomas having visited India,
mhm,
having preached there,
mhm,
and established probably the first church in India and more, and then was martyred there from Kerala. He came over to the East Coast and he was martyred, and his remains were buried in Mylapore, which today is part of the city of Madras. And June and I lived in that city for many years. In fact, we lived in Mylapore
Okay.
for 15 years, our
Mhm,
last while in India.
mhm,
And we lived among Thomas Christians who live in Mylapore on Luz Avenue.
mhm,
And the famous San Tome Cathedral is
mhm,
in Mylapore, very
mhm,
near the beach. And
mhm,
we have visited it many times. And then having read the history, the findings of historians, I
mhm,
mean, as an American far removed from all of this, when we first went to India, I knew very little about Thomas, except that, you know, there was the doubting Thomas in the Bible, one of Jesus' disciples. And I guess he could have gone to India, but I didn't really know much about it. Fortunately, when we got to India, I didn't say anything about my doubts. And then the first volume was published in the Church History of India series, published by the Church History Association of India
mhm,
by Father Matthias Mudaran,
mhm,
a renowned scholar
mhm,
of Kerala, who writes the first volume on the first, from the beginning up to the 16th century or something like that.
mhm,
And when I read that, oh, here's this historian, you know, very well informed. I don't
mhm,
know these things, but he does, and he knows the language, and he's of the tradition of the people. And well, anyway, when I finished the 50 or 100 pages, I forget, I don't have my volume with me anymore, it's in India, but
mhm.
I was no longer doubting about Thomas.
Wow.